Okay, let's go over this formative quiz. So we'll start with scale 3.5, which is point and slope. And remember, with point and slope, I just need to choose a point and a slope, and that's what's given. So right away, you'll know that your slope is going to be -7/11. And now I just need to figure out what goes inside. So here's your point. And remember, we want the x value, which in this case is -2, to go to 0, to be our new day 0. Which means I need to add 2 to make it go to 0. So therefore, inside the parentheses is going to be x plus 2. And then everything here will go to 0, which allows me to start at 10. So then plus 10. And that would be my equation. So I just have to find which one. Be careful. It's going to be A here. Because they're all very similar. So just be very careful when you choose your choice. Look at the next question, question number 2. This time they've given you 2 points, so you need to find the slope and then just choose one of the points. So to find the slope, I got to figure out how much it changed from 3 to 13. Remember, it's y over x. The y values are the second value in the coordinate. So therefore, 3 to 13, that's plus 10. To get -4 to 5, this is where it gets a little tricky. That is actually plus 9. Think of a number line if you're having issues with that. You're not adding it. Because to go from -4 to 5, I have to pass 0, right? So that means I have to go right 4 and then another right 5. So that's why it's plus 9. So my slope in this case is going to be 10/9. So right away you can just start taking things out. You're down to these 3. And now you just have to look and see, okay, which one is using the point correctly. Notice this one, that point, if I look at it correctly, that would be 3, -4. How do I know? Because this is shifted, so that way that goes to 0. And that's not one of the points, so that one is not the choice. So I can take that one out. This one looks tempting. The only issue is, do you see how this is a positive 5? That would need to be x minus 5 inside, so that way that goes to 0. So this one's out. That leaves me with only this one, but let's just make sure that you understand why. The point is -4, 3. Notice to get the x value to go to 0, I have to add 4, which this does perfectly, and then I can start with positive 3. So therefore, D is my answer. Okay? If we move on to the next one, notice you're given a graph, and we don't know what the y-intercept is. It's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to use one of these points after I find the slope. So let's do it. And I've noticed some of you will do the go right 1, 2, 3, 4. So you'll go right 4 and up 3, and you're so tempted to write it this way. The only issue with that is, remember, your slope is y over x. So even though you did 4 first, that doesn't mean 4 goes on the top. Your y value is the vertical part, so what goes up and down. So that would be 3. So that's 3 over your horizontal or x value, which is 4. This is your slope. Okay, some of you are flipping that. And so now I can just kind of go through the answer choices and take out the ones that have the wrong slope. See how that one's flipped? That doesn't work. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. And now I'm down to E and D. So looks like they're both using a similar point. Looks like they're using this point here. And that coordinate is 3, 5. So to make that go to 0, I need to subtract 3 from the x, which this one's adding, so that one's out. And this one would be your correct answer. And there you go. So that was 3.3 and 3.5 because, again, you had to find the slope. And so therefore those were kind of combined with each other. Question number 4, to find the slope of the linear function. Again, you're trying to find out how much it changed from 3 to -4. Again, think of number line, -4, this is 3. To go from 3 to 4, I have to go backwards. Or in other words, I have to go -7 or down 7. So that's your y value, and then go from -5 to -1. Again, think of number line if it helps. You had to go right. That was a +4, so my slope would be -7/4, which would be D. Remember, we're trying to find the distance between the y's and distance between the x's, or how much did it change for the y and how much did it change for the x. Moving on to the next one. Again, a lot of you recognize that this is going down by 2. Fantastic. But it's not going down. It kind of gives the impression. I'm actually adding 2. Because to add 2 to -10 gives you -8. It's actually going up. I know it's a little tricky. So my slope is actually 2, or positive 2. And then notice a lot of you wanted to start at the beginning of the table. That's not true. It's starting, or my y-intercept is going to start when x is 0, so I need to use -10. So since all these are in slope-intercept form, my equation should be y equals 2x minus 10, which is going to be your B choice. If you chose some of the other ones, like A and C, notice I get what you're doing, but again, we're not starting at -14 even though the table does, because that has a -2. We're starting with 0, which is why this is going to be our answer choice. Okay. Moving on, so here you have a situation, you got to match it to the graph. So if I'm looking and reading this carefully, I'm going to sketch what I'm looking for. It says he has already written 7 songs. That means he started with 7 songs. So I'm looking for something that starts at 7. Let me just label this as the y-axis is songs. And then he writes 2 songs every day. It looks like my x-axis is days. So I'm looking for a graph that's going up 2 and over 3. So up 2 over 3, something like this. Up 2 over 3. That was a terrible little sketch. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Let's see if we can find it. I see A is starting at 7. B is starting at 3, so that one's out. C is also starting at 7. D is starting down to negative, so that one's out. So it's down to A and C. Well, if I look at C really quick, this one, I'm going to find a nice point. Let's see if I can find it right here. There we go. To find the slope, it looks like it's going up 1, 2, 3 for every 2. So if I write that with the y over x, that's really 3 over 2. That doesn't match what our story has because we want to be going up 2 for every 3 x's. So let's look at A. Notice how this is going up 2 and over 3. Up 2 over 3. So this one, A, would be our answer choice. Okay. Now we're getting into matching the algebraic representation. So if I'm given an equation, the first thing I'll look is what am I starting with, which is 40. And the only one that starts with 40 is B. And then you can see that I'm subtracting 5 each time, or in other words, subtracting 5 for every 1. And you can see that happening here. So therefore, that would be my answer choice. And I think this is our last question. Yes, definition of a function. Remember, the definition of a function is for every input, there's only one output. And so A actually is a function because for every input, there's only one result. If I plug in 3, I get 5. If I plug in 5, I get 5. That's okay. I can have repeated outputs. That's fine. What I can't have is if, for example, 7 were to go to 5 and 9. That would not be a function. Or if 5 went to 9 and 5, that would not be a function. Or 3 went to 5 and 9, that would not be a function. So in this case, how it's written, this is a function because if I input any of those numbers on the left, I will only get one result for that input, not that I get a unique result all the time. Okay, if I look at B, this one is not a function. This one's not. If you look, the inputs are on the x-axis. The outputs are on the y-axis. So if I look, that one is good. This one works. This one works. It's here, right there, where I have an issue because if I input 2, I get this value, and I also get that value. This is not a function because for every input, there can only be one output, and this one doesn't work. If I look at C, some of you might have missed it. I apologize. But if you look at the way it's written, it's telling you the input is X. This is input. Where's my N? There we go. This is your output. So if I look at my inputs, 3 goes to 6, 4 goes to 10, 8 goes to 12. There's no repeated issue, so therefore this is a function. If I had something like another one, 4 comma, let's say 15, now we have an issue because I'm saying if I plug 4 in, I get 10, but also if I plug 4 in, I get 15. So that doesn't work. And finally, D is also a function. You can kind of see that by drawing like vertical lines because for every input, there's only one output. And again, it's okay if I have repeated outputs. That's totally fine. I can come back to the same position. Think about like the Ferris wheel as I went around. I can come to the same position multiple times because it's at different periods of time. So this one's totally fine. This is a function, and we're good to go. So the only one that was not a function would have been this one. And there you have it. That was your formative quiz number 2. So if that doesn't help with this video, please let me know and we'll chat. See ya.